I'm Ed Highland, and welcome to AARC's Big Ideas Theater. Today we're going to talk a little bit about inspirational things that I think have a great deal of interest to our audience. I'm joined by YouTube personality and the founder of Claire's Place Foundation, Claire Wineland. Thank you so much for coming by. It was founded to assist families with cystic fibrosis. Claire just gave a very riveting keynote presentation here at the AARC Congress entitled Give Me Dignity or Give Me Death. Claire?
Dramatic. It's the dramatic flair. It's
dramatic, but it's for a reason, and it's an important reason. Tell us a little bit about your journey, if you would.
Yeah, so I was born with cystic fibrosis, which is a genetic disease. It causes an overload of mucus to accumulate in your lungs, your pancreas, your intestines, your sinuses, and is genetic, chronic, and progressive. So as you get older, it gets worse and more intense. And it also has kind of a terminal quality to it where it's, a lot of people with cystic fibrosis don't make it past the age, with my mutation especially, past the age of, 25 to 30. So kind of from the moment I was born, I knew that life was going to be very different for me. And I spent around a quarter of my life in the hospitals, really getting to understand the medical world and the whole system. And when I was around 13, I went through a really horrific instance with my health where my lungs nearly failed and all of that. And I came out of it really realizing that the cystic fibrosis community needs a sort of financial safety net and support system that did not exist previously. And so I founded the Claire's Place Foundation as a way to give that safety net back to people and that support system. And it's been an incredible 7 years of being able to help people in the community and really find kind of what I had needed as a kid that I didn't get and give that back.
Can you kind of put it in perspective for us? I mean, how many people are affected by CF? Give us some thoughts about and you personally. I mean, you're sitting here, and it should be obvious to the folks on camera. You're hooked up. This is a very, very personal mission for you as well.
Yeah, well, cystic fibrosis affects around 30,000 people in the United States. And the thing about CF that really makes it challenging is actually not the life expectancy. It's not the time in the hospital. It's none of that. It's the amount of time and energy that goes into caring for someone with CF. So it's pretty much a full-time job. I do, at around 20 years old, I do 4 to 5 hours of treatments every day. And treatments entail putting on a vest, nebulizers, I'm on around 50 medications. I do shots, blood sugars, BiPAP at night, pretty much everything under the sun. And it's every single day you have to do that. And so the amount of hours and time and energy that gets spent on cystic fibrosis, not just from the patient side, but from the family's perspective, is really monumentous. And so that to me is the real hardship of cystic fibrosis, and it's also the real thing that needs kind of care and assistance, is that if you are a parent who's putting that much energy into your child, you also have the rest of, the rest of the issues that go along just with being a human being, like paying bills, taking care of your other kid, so how do you manage and juggle all of that is really the real issue with CF in my opinion.
So Claire, you're here at AARC Congress, not only of course to talk a little bit about CF, but also to raise a little awareness among the healthcare professionals about exactly what this disease is all about and perhaps how they can better help.
Yeah, I think having been raised around doctors and in the medical system, I know how important it is to not just treat patients in the sense of just trying to get them better, trying to fix them, or trying to just treat their health. You also have to treat them as people, as human beings who need to be empowered and inspired and have something, worthwhile that they're living for in order to take care of themselves. So really kind of what I try and do, along with providing, all the support that the foundation does, is I try and find a way to empower people who are sick, especially those who have CF, to feel like they can really make something out of their life, and they don't have to wait until the day that they're healthy in order to live the life they want to live. Because healthcare is hugely important to me. I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for it, quite literally. But I think that it's easy to get into a tunnel vision when you're healthcare providers of just trying to fix the problem, instead of realizing that the person you're working with is a human being and needs to have something a little deeper that they're living for. And so that's really my passion with everything.
Well, let's talk specifically in the few seconds we've got left about Claire's Place Foundation.
Right.
What are you doing and what do you want to do?
My baby, yeah, so, you know, the actual logistics of having a nonprofit like this is really interesting because what we do is to provide direct support to families who are dealing with the burden of cystic fibrosis, which means we help with their rent, their car payments, their travel expenses, their medical bills, their co-pays, all of that, and provide different sort of support as patients get older. So when you're a kid, and I remember this from, you know, the countless times of being by myself and scared and alone in the hospital because my parents had to go to work and had other kids to take care of, and I know how scary that can be. And so, you know, we provide financial support to the parents so they can be with their kids in the hospital when they're sick. But as the kid grows up, there's different issues that they're faced with. School, getting their own apartment, getting a job, traveling, you know, having lives that they want. And so we provide different sort of support as patients age and as the needs kind of change. But overall, we are the kind of financial and emotional safety net so that people who are sick have the courage to actually make leaps in their life and not feel like they're victimized by their illness.
Where can people go to get some more information?
You can go to clairesplacefoundation.org and check us out, donate. We do a few events a year, so if you're ever around in Los Angeles, come check us out. And it's really, really amazing to see the actual families that get support, which I don't think you get to see with very many foundations.
Well, Claire Wineland, thank you for joining us, telling us about Claire's Place Foundation.
Of course.
We'll look for you on YouTube. And thank you so much for being here in the Big Ideas Theater.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
This is the Big Ideas Theater. I'm Ed Highland, and Big Ideas Theater is sponsored by Draeger.